Tonight, we are going to be jumping more into our ethical hacking. We have been building out this port scanner for over the past few weeks. We have it working as expected. However, a couple of weeks ago, I said, you know what? We need a better way to test instead of always manually running it over and over and over. We need to build some unit tests. So we're going to be working on that today. Last week, we got it working the right way, but we want to build our unit test in case we want to enhance on it, or when I push it up to GitHub, someone wants to pull it in. So what we're going to be doing today, maybe next week, depending on how far we get, we're going to be building unit tests. What we have done, so this is what we've done so far. This is what we've done so far, right? We built out this port scanner in Python using the socket module. We have, so we're able to do it with a single IP address, a range of IP addresses, multiple individual IP addresses separated by comma. The same thing for ports, a single port, a range of ports, multiple individual ports separated by comma. So we've built all of that out, right? We tried to do the testing, but we ran into some complications around the input. So today the goal is write some unit tests for the application. Why we're going to talk about why testing it is important, and we're going to see, can we mock this port scanning thing? So that's going to be between today. If we don't get done today, we probably won't. We're going to take that into next Thursday night as well, so that because testing is a very, very, very important part of this whole thing. Let's start off with the show, right? So I am going to put in our first 20 minutes of work.
It's time to do.
All right. So the goal for tonight is to write some tests for our application, for our port scanner. We were working on it a little bit 2 weeks ago, but we had to pivot just because it was taking us more time trying to figure out how to do the input thing. But tonight I got time, right? We're going to dedicate our time to getting these unit tests. I want to talk about why testing is important, and then we're going to talk about mocking. Mocking is basically not necessarily having to have the virtual machines running with the ports open. We can say, all right, if you hit this port, then I want to get this response. So we're going to look into that as well. But let's start off with this. Why is testing important? So for a few different reasons, right? Number one, you want to make sure your application works. But the unit testing part is particularly important because if we were to, let's say we were to build this out into something big and we were to make changes to the code, we don't want to always have to go through a bunch of manual tests to make sure the changes that we did didn't break anything. We want it to be in a way that we can just execute our tests and we still have passing tests. If a test fails, we need to go back and see, why is it failing? Is it supposed to be failing based on the changes that we made, or did we break something? And another thing to keep in mind is when it comes to testing, if you have a robust application that's out there, production level application, and you make some changes, a lot of times you make a change that breaks something, it is going to cause havoc for like users out there in the field. So you have to make things backward compatible. So I want to write out these tests so that whenever as we build it, as we make changes, we run the test, then we can easily see, all right, this is still working, or nope, we broke something. Also, I'm going to push this to GitHub after we're done with it. And if someone wants to pick up on it, build upon it, whatever, they should have confidence that whatever changes that they made didn't break existing functionality by running the test and knowing that, all right, things are still working, right? So that is like the mentality, the reasoning on why testing is important, along with many other reasons, but that is the reason, like, I'm going to give right now. So with that being said, I am going to open up PyCharm because we build this in Python, and that's what I spoke about when we first started this, why learning to code is so important. Because why is learning to code important? Because you can create your own things, you can create your own software, you can create your own applications, and then you can use it for yourself. You can write your own automated scripts to help you and all of that stuff, right? So coding is one of the most important things that someone can learn because it gives you the freedom to build your own things as necessary, right? And then now with these AI agents that are coming out, you don't necessarily need to know how to code in order to use it, but imagine how much more dangerous you are if you do know how to code, right? Like, oh, you don't need to know how to code anymore. Yeah, but what if you do know? What if you do know? All right. Anyways, let's get into this project. So move this over here. All right. So let's go over to the screen. So this is our code, right? Our port scanner project. We tried to write some test cases for it, but we ran in. So all right. So we have a few tests here. Test a single IP and port. Test comma separated IP address and port. So this is the comma separated. Test range of IPs in a single port. We're also going to need some tests to test the range of ports, a mix of range of ports and IPs, all of that, right? But one of the issues that we ran into was because the scan multiple IP thing, because scan multiple IP takes in a input, we had some trouble getting that to work the right way. So let me start up a virtual machine for Metasploitable. Something that I'm gonna open up UTM, but something that we're gonna be doing is something that we're gonna end up doing is do the like see if we can mock it so that we don't have to we don't have to have a running virtual machine, right? So we can say, all right, if it's on this port, then this is the response that we should get. If it's on that port, this is the response that we should get. Things like that, right? So all of that is part of software development. All right, so I'm starting up the machine here. But while that's happening, I am going to look up, close some stuff down. All right, so let's look up PyTest input. How to test a function with input call. I have a console program with in Python. It asks you to using commands, some input. All right, so what is this monkey patch? So you know what I'm thinking about doing? Actually, if I go back over here, I just thought about this right now. Instead of having this outside of the function, right? Maybe I can just move this inside of the scan multiple IP address. And if we were to do that, we wouldn't have to input this here and this here. I'm thinking about that. But if I do move it in there, then I can't just use this standalone. So let me refine my search. Let me refine my search. I don't want this search anymore. PyTest input parameter. PyTest Python file that takes input. Let's see what it says. So, maybe we can say, so if name equals main. Let's see how we can change this up. Simulate user input. Let's see. So in order to do that, built-in inputs lambda to run this test. So what I'm thinking about doing is get user input test input example.get user input. So example has get user input, process input. If name equals main, user text equals get user input process. So we can change that to a main function. So let's try that. I'm gonna try that real quick. Instead of having the, because you can do this in Python like that, but it's more like of a script that way. But if we say define, let's see, get to scan, and we say return IP address to scan, which we could have just did. We could just do this. Could just do that. Save some code, and then here we say define port to get port to scan. And we go with that. And in here, we say if name equals main, and we say IP address to scan is equal to get IP to scan, and we say port to scan equals get ports to scan. I do want to say get IP addresses to scan and get ports to scan. And we go with, and then we say scan multiple, and we pass this in here, and we pass that in here. All right. So just reworking. Oh, wait, return. All right. Just reworking this a little bit. And if I run this, run scanner, and it takes the IP. So far our code is still working. So let's do, let's see if our metasploitable is up. MSF admin, and if config. Our IP address is 192.168.8647. 192.168.8647. Port to scan, let's go at 22, and it still works. So now that we have written our code the right way, right? Don't let people tell you there's no right way to write code. There is a right way to write code, and there's a wrong way to write code. What's up, Z Alfie over on the Twitch side of the game? Shout out to all of those on Twitch. I truly, truly appreciate you. And you know what? On the Twitch side of the game, I did not post this yet. Let me post this right now to all of those who are watching on Twitch. I am offering 30 days of access to the Tech Coach Ralph Patreon on me. So feel free to click on the link. I just dropped it in Twitch. It's already on YouTube. I just dropped it in Twitch. And boom. Sign up and let's have a conversation. All right. So Anyways, let's continue. All right, so this is working as expected. So now we can more adequately try to test out our port scanner with the input. So let's do this. So now we're going to say, what do we have up here? We have, right, so from unit, so we have our unit import unit test. Guess we have to import PyTest. I'll import PyTest as well. Let's install PyTest. Yeah, we didn't have PyTest before. Let's install PyTest. PyTest is a testing framework for Python. Very, very popular and powerful testing framework. Let's see. Next up, let's go ahead and do. So we have our scanner being imported. We have our unit test mock import patch. So we have that. So we are going to do. Let's do. So we have our test scanner. So I guess we can add a test about. Let's make sure that the getting the IP address works, right? So define or def. Let's see. We say test process test accept IP addresses input, and we could say scanner dot get IP address to scan. No, that wouldn't work. Yeah, that's not what we want. Never mind. I was looking at something else. We don't need that. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. I was thinking about because that function does not take input, so it doesn't even matter. All right, so here we're going to say, what is this monkey patch thing? So let's say test single IP address and port. And I see they are passing a, why is that so? Oh, okay. So let's do a comma, monkey patch. And we're going to say monkey patch dot set attribute. And we're going to say built-ins. And after we do this, then I'll look it up to see what exactly all this is doing. But built-ins, just want to see if it's going to work right. Because if it's not, then why are we wasting our time? Lambda, and we're going to say, we'll use this IP address right here. Or we'll use 192.168.86.47, the one that we know that is open. And we'll say, how do I do 2? How would I do 2? So what I'm looking at over here is simulate user input using monkey patch. So what I want to do is 2 user inputs with monkey patch. Example.get user input, return value, test main with mocked input, example.main. Okay, so this would be test get user input. Oh, okay. Example. So this would be test get user input, and we make sure that that's the input, and then example.get user input return value would be mocked input, and then okay, so that makes more sense. All right, so I got it. So now let's go ahead and modify. All right, so let's do. I'm just gonna copy this over and make some modifications. Look, we are learning this together. All right, we are learning this together. So let's say test get IP addresses. and we're going to say monkey patch, and then we're going to say built-in, and we're going to say 192.168.86.47. And we are going to say, get rid of this for now. And we would say assert scanner dot get IP addresses to scan equals to 192.168.86.47. If we run that one, and let's see what the error message that we get. Missing one required argument, monkey patch. Itself. So let's try that again. Let's see. Missing, so test get IP address is missing one positional argument, monkey patch. What does that mean? Hold on, let me see. Get IP address to scan. I guess we don't need, let me see, get rid of this class. And we go to, oops. That's one of the things about Python with it not being
Lunch break.
Without Python being super strict, you kind of can do different things all over the place. Let me run this again. Okay, so removing the self, that passed. All right, so we don't need to use the class at the end of the day. We can just have our tests in here. I'm sure there's a way that we could use the class, but I'm not going to kill myself over it because we're doing this in PyTest. So when we come back, we will go ahead and update these. We have monkey patch working, and we're gonna, so we know this function is working. We will go and write a couple of more tests for this function. Then we'll do for the port, and then we will do for passing them into the main function to make sure that the scanning is working. Then we'll look into the mocking opportunities. All right, but it is break time. Let's go to break. All right, we are making progress. So that is always amazing. Let's get back to work.
Let's go!
All right, so we have this passing. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get rid of this. We have this working. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just going to do some simple. I don't think it's necessary to do this test, to be honest with you, because it's just going to it's just going to return to me exactly what I put in. So I'm not going to do this test, right? What I am going to do though, I'm going to do def test get ports monkey patch. Learning, I did not know about monkey patch before, so definitely learning something new. Set attribute, we're going to say built-ins dot input. We're going to say lambda, and we're going to say 22 assert scanner dot get port to scan equals 22. So if we run this one, that should also pass. All right, perfect. So 2 lines. All right. So now that we get to this test single IP address and port, if we were to, so I'm going to have to reference the documentation. So here we're going to say test main with, it's not really a mocked input, but so example.get user input is going to be return value. I think I'm going to do another one, patch example.get port, and then that's going to be return value for 22, and then we're going to do scanner dot scan multiple IP addresses, and then we can assert. I'm not sure what we're asserting. Captured out. Captured equals capsys read out. Okay. So I think I see it. All right. So let's go. Let's give it a try. All right. So let's get rid of this code right here. All right. So let's start. Ooh, this one. All right. Let's start anew. Right. So we're gonna say monkey patch dot set attribute. And actually, no, we're gonna say, I'm sorry, we're gonna do patch, and we're gonna say scanner dot, we're gonna do scanner dot, and we're gonna say get IP address to scan, and we're gonna say the value is going to be return value equals, and we're gonna just do this right here, 192, 168, 86. Oops. Oh, come on. Let me move this down a little bit. And here we would say, so test single IP address, and all right, so we're going to do another patch. Scanner dot get port to scan, comma, return value equals 22, right? And here we're going to say scanner dot scan multiple IP addresses. Oh no, not that. We're gonna do scanner.main. Scanner.main. What? Scanner.main. Is that right? Cannot reference main in scanner.py. Why? So let's look at this real quick. Why are you able to do it here, allegedly? Oh, maybe it's just, maybe you can't do main because it's just scanner, maybe? Let me see. Let's see. Statement has no effect. Let's see. Why are they able to do that, main? I'm just gonna type it in and see what happens. Let's run it, see what happens. It says that let me see. User input, process input. We have that here. If name equals main, then to do this, and if we were to do scanner, monkey patch, Let's see here. Oh, wait a second. Hold on 1 second. So there is no monkey patch in here. It would be mock input capsys. Trying to, all right, let me see, mock input. And let's say print mock input. I just want to see what this is going to print out. So, nothing. Actually, all right, let's go and do this. Let me just say if we do print test, right? And that is not able to work because magic mock name get port to scan ID, magic mock get IP address to scan ID. Type take 0 arguments, but 2 are given. Okay, so if we say test 1, test 2, and we do print test 1, print test 2, we run that. Ah, I see, says the blind man. So all I did was I put something here to get an error. So let me undo right quick. So just so you can see what I did. So when I ran this to see if this was going to get here, I got an error that said that this right here requires 2 positional arguments, but I'm not passing anything in. So that led me to understand that, see, it says right here, test single IP address and port takes 0 positional arguments, but 2 are given. These are the 2 that were given, right? So I had to go and say, all right, so I can say IP addresses here and ports here, right? And now I can say, just to test it out, IP addresses. Let's make this an F string real quick. And let's say this one, we make it ports. So when I run it, I have, it's not printing out the right thing, but you see where it says the IP addresses and the ports. So if we were to do, how do we get the return value? So how would we get the value? Let's see, capsys. Magic mock name, get port to scan. Let's see. All right, so let's do a quick little research. How to Python patch return value output. All right. When using patch in Python's unit test mock library, the return value of patch object is controlled by the return value attribute of the mock. By default, if return is not explicitly set, it defaults to a new mock instance. So we have our return value set. Mock external function. mock internal function, directly patch value, results, function to test, mock external function. Main, so patch main external function, mock external function, results equals function to test. Function to test is a return external function. Results direct. Why am I not getting that then? Results function to test. Let me try something else then. If I go to here and I say IP address equal, or what if I do let's say test IP address equals scanner dot. Let's see if I do that. And I do print. I'm just trying to see how this thing is working. So, okay, so here it prints, so it passes this one correctly. So my question is how, so this is working. But I need to pass this in here. What if I do that? So if I do that, so this right here is getting this. But if I call the function, in here, so that is confusing. That is confusing, I must say. Because if I'm looking at this documentation over here, it says result, so mock external function, mock x, so all right, in here mock external function dot, okay, so mock external function dot return value equals patched value. Here, function to test. So looking at this one, function to test patch return value directly. Mock external function. This mock external function is set to this result function to test. Result. That is weird. That is weird. Let's go with because we got Don in the building. What's up, Don? It says, what's your assertion? What are you testing? I don't have any assertions yet. I'm just trying to understand how this patch is working and mocking is working in this Python script. So basically I built a port scanner as part of the course, and I'm trying to write some test around it, but I'm trying to understand how this, because I have some inputs where I can input the IP address or the range or the separated by comma. And I'm just trying to understand, how this stuff works. Because if this is taking the IP address, but when I go in, oh, wait a second. Return value equals return value mock external function return. So why is my return value not working? Why is the... So I'm gonna go back over here. Let me see. I don't. Let's see here. Nope. I just want it seems like it should be pretty straightforward. So Python patch use return value. I don't know. Let's see. Let me see. I don't know. It seems like it should be, because I shouldn't have to do this line right here. It's setting it correctly, but I shouldn't have to do that. I should scanner IP address scanner test IP address. Let me see. If I do that, I get the IP address, but that's because I'm mocking this right
Lunch
here.
break. Lunch break.
And it's getting the return value. But I can't. Let me see something real quick. Return value. Let's see something. No value, return value. Interesting. Interesting. I gotta do some more research. Anyways, let's go to break. I'm gonna figure this out. I will figure this out eventually. All right, I'm gonna work.
It's time to do.
And I am trying to figure out this patch thing because let's take a look over here. If I say patch function mock external dot return value equals, so I'd have to add it within there. Return function to test results function to test. seems weird. Let's see what the side effect thing is. A mock external side effect. This is so weird. Let me see. Python patch use return value in return value of function. Let's see. Unit to, all right, so function to patch, original value, test with patch, function to patch. So mock return value, patch value, assert. That's ridiculous though. Assert function to patch equals patch value. Function to mock. Assert function. All right, so this is kind of silly, but let's do this. So if we say function to mock, so if we don't have return value up here, and we're to take this off, why? And I see that they're using main here. Let's say we do main, and we were to say IP addresses and ports still stay the same, and we were to say IP addresses dot return value patch value. So if we said it equals that, and then we say print get. Why? Okay, yeah, get this, like unresolved all right, let me comment these things out. So the error is, okay, so let me move this back to scanner, and let's run that. And this so this gives us the mock thing. So if we were to say, doesn't make sense. So this is being set to, so if I say this is as, oh, wait a second, return value 192.168.86.47. If I get rid of that, I run that. Oh, so although this isn't here, it's not using it. So it's not even using these. That is weird. That's weird to me. That like what is the purpose of these being passed as parameters if it's not even being used? But whatever. All right. So we say print scanner dot get port to scan. That should give us 22. If we go here, 22. Okay. I'll take it. So if we go to scanner dot scan multiple IP addresses, and we pass in scanner dot get IP address and scanner dot get port to scan, and we run that for now at least. There you go. So our test actually worked. Weirdly enough, but it worked. I don't like seeing these light gray functions, but if I remove it and I run it, it's going to tell me that is an error, right? Watch. See? So I need to have it there. However, if I don't, they say that they're not used. I don't know. Whatever. For now, it's fine. I don't care. So now let's add a little bit. Let's add some variations of tests. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna copy this test right here, and we're gonna go to here. I'm just gonna take this name here, and I am going to take this right here and put it here, and leave this port 22. Gonna get rid of this test right here. So this test should actually do two, one on this port and do 47 or 23, and one over here, right? And they should both be trying to access port 22. Let's run this one, and we have it successful. It connected on port 47. It skipped the port 22. We do need to add some assertions on this, which I think we can do. Let me see. How could we? Let's go over here. Python assert on print value or print output. Assert statement in print used to check the condition is true. Print output. See if that's possible. Because assertions will help us use to check if condition is true. While a search property used for debugging and testing, it can be. That's not the one that I want though. In the first example, that's not what I want. See, all right, this is what we want. CMD. So CMD pros. Not exactly that. String.io. All right, let's see what it's string. You can easily capture standard output by temporarily redirecting sys st out to a string IO. But I could just do sys out. So let's try that. I wonder if I could just do sys out. So if we do guess we could do that. So if we go to here and we do import string IO, let's install that, I guess. No module for that. Let's see, sys. And let's go down here and we say print sys dot SET out. Okay, that doesn't really say anything. Let's see. So std out equals captured output food test sys std out print captured output get value. There's a Python 3, so that was Python 2. Let's see. So IO. So let's try that captured output part. Okay. So if we're looking at this one, we will say let's say we do captured output equals io.string io, and then we say sys.std out equals captured output. I'm going to change the name of this variable because that is not proper Python naming convention. And we say scatter. Okay. And then we do sys dot std out equals sys dot std out. Oops, double. Let's do that. And then print. See if this works first, and then we might be able to use that to validate, right? So so we do, oh, I'm supposed to be showing this. We do, so let's try that captured f string captured captured output dot get value. So let's see if we can get that to print. We do have it printing. So let's see if we can say assert IP address no. What? That's not right. Is it? Let me see. Hold on, that's not right. Why is that the captured output? Why are the captured IP addresses? That's not the right output. Captured output. Let me see something. If I move this over here, and let me try it one more time. IP. Okay, so that's already printing. But now I'm not getting anything printed of captured. Let me comment this out. Let me see. So, oh, I see. All right. I see what's happening. Okay. All right. Let me see if we do last. Let's see if we do last value. What happens? The last value that was outputted. Let's move that back over here. Nothing. Interesting. 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 Okay. All right. Either way, whatever. We will worry about that part after. Let me finish. Let me write these tests out, and then the assertions we can figure that out next week, as well as mocking with additional type of mocking. So that is the, and then next week we can also turn on another VM, so we can have two that we're scanning. Let's go one more test where we will say 42, 47, and we'll keep it on port 22. And then here we will do, let's do 40, let's do 50. And then here we will do, get rid of that, run this one, and scanning through everything, and still found 47. So this is working correctly. If we want to see it working correctly some more, we can go over to our code over here, and did I delete the code? Let me see.
Lunch break. Lunch break.
I might have removed the code last week when it can't connect to it. Successfully connected. Throw these in there real quick. Let's throw that in there real quick, and let's run the test one last time. Let's run this one. You can see what happens. So there you go. So our tests are running on every single IP, timed out, connecting, unable to connect, unable to connect, unable to connect, successfully connected. But part of our code is not to have that in there. So this is working properly. Now the thing is that we need to do two things. We need to do. We need to make sure that we can assert that. So we can probably just do a return statement instead of just a print statement. We could do a return here. Let's say we do. Yeah, we could just like pass this in there right there. And that would pretty much be it. Yeah, okay, let's add that real quick, right? So assert maybe something like that. We'll leave that for next week. I will leave that for next week. Let's do a to do enter assertions. So that's for next week. Assertions and mock IP addresses and ports so they don't require a running VM to run tests. All right. And this is going to be for May 22nd, 2025, right? So next week, we're going to be working on our assertions and we're going to be working on mocking the IP addresses, right?
Fell from the clouds, felt the crash. High horse bucked me off the path. Smitten, lost, can't find my way. Below rock bottom, here I'll stay. I was riding, up on that horse. Thought I had it all, no doubts, no remorse. Fell hard, right down below. Lower than rock bottom, where dreams don't go. Where do I go from here? Can't see through the fear. I'm lost, I'm scared, tangled up. Trying to find my luck. Lost in the shadows, can't find the light. Wandering aimless through endless night. Should've been straight, should've, would've, could've, but I took the curve. Now I'm stuck in this mess with nerve. Broken wings, shattered dreams, echoes of laughter. Now just screams. Trying to climb back up the wall, but every step it's a harder fall. Once high up in the sky so blue, now the ground's the only view. Regrets a heavy chain around my feet, dragging me down into this defeat. I look for answers in the dark, hoping to kindle a single spark, just a spark. But all I find is the cold and the pain, circling around like a never-ending chain. Gotta find a way to break free from this. Reclaim the throne I start to miss. Reclaim the throne. Right now just lost in despair. Grasping for hope, it's nowhere. Where do I go from here? I can't see through the fear. I'm lost, I'm scared, tangled up. I'm lost, trying to find my luck. Tired eyes looking for a sign. Fractured heart, cracked by time. Should've been straight, paid my dues. Now I'm haunted by the blues.